Sarah, what have you done?
Kerrigan, the die is cast. This is the last day. Your swarm darkens the sky of any planet.
Forget Minsk. Forget all of it.
When we are done here, I will return to my people and accept their judgment.
Command, we've found Kerrigan. She's holed up in a Zerg base.
I made my peace long ago.
Consider it done. For ire. Indeed.
Hey everyone, I am Hyper Turtle, and I am the current commissioner of the FSL. Just wanted to join you. We're looking at doing some special Wednesday features here and there, just to mix things up a little bit. One thing I do need to do on my checklist tonight is that on Friday, well, KJ was in a match, but he was also doing the hosting, so I want to do a quick review of that match in a way where we could see everything. After that, I want to take a bit of a deep dive into both StarCraft 2 and StarCraft Remastered and just get a general idea of what they have to offer. I've heard a lot of people say that can't get into StarCraft. It's a hard game. And really what it is as hard as you make it, or I guess also as hard as your opponent makes it. And that's why it's so great just to find some friendly players who are more or less the same level as you, and who want the same sort of stuff out of the game. But we're getting ahead of ourselves there, because I would like to take a closer look at this replay. Here we go. So KJ Freeedom is the founder of FSL. Harouz is a newcomer to the scene. Alright. In the upper left, our blue Protoss, he is
Harouz.
And in the lower right, he is the red Terran, and he is
KJ Freedom.
And I will let you in on something else. This is also kind of a free pass night for me to practice up a bit. Now, KJ Freedom, he plays a bit as all three races. Harouz, I believe, is strictly Protoss. KJ is doing Terran specifically because it is his, well, worst race. We try to keep things even, and sometimes that involves intentionally handicapping yourself a little bit. Got a pro about scouting. And we have the anti-Reaper wall gradually going up here. Harouz takes a gas. Freedom building up his barracks right now. And for those of you that are joining me, oh, we got the probe tickling the SCV. Let's see. Yeah, KJ knows this situation well enough. Pulls one SCV back. Actually, kind of pulls all of them back a bit. And walls that poor pro... Oh, we have a recall. I remember talking about this a little bit with War Bunnies when we were streaming this live from KJ's point of view. And it's a tricky thing, because that's energy that you can use for multiple other probes to speed them out. And look at the guy. Just can't get enough abuse. He head straight back onto the battlefield again to look around. KJ and Harouz are both taking their expansions roughly the same time. We have a Reaper that's almost ready on behalf of KJ as the factory goes up. Ooh, and I just remembered, I also wanted to try to skip around a little bit and try out some different items I can bring up on the screen. Reaper doesn't even notice the probe that's patrolling a very small area there. We have a Stalker similarly, just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Twilight Council on the way. Widow Mine being made. KJ sees the Stalkers here. Looked like he was looking at taking an alternate route. Looks like he's got to heal up first, though. And there's that Twilight Council. Orbital finishing up here. KJ's got that classic command center skin where it's honestly a little bit hard to tell what kind of upgrades it has. So I got the mules out here. And Widow Mines and Reapers sneaking around the map. Looks like we have a proxy pylon here with the Stalkers on their way to meet anything that warps in. Reaper goes down nice and quickly, and those 3 Stalkers continue their march. We have a gateway on the way so that we can make this into a faster super pylon. Medevac on the way as well. Ooh, look at those. Yeah, Harouz decides to keep his distance from those Widow Mines. Income about even. Freedom a little bit ahead on the gas. And we have a Widow Mine drop coming up. Blink almost finished. And Armory almost finished too, so these Widow Mines are going to be able to stay hidden. Not sure exactly what that scan was, but yeah, there's quite the threat moving in here. Oh, and the Widow Mines. Widow Mines caught above ground. Stalkers take out every one of them. The medevac is on the way. It is going to try for a drop right in the center of the minerals. Thank you for those joining us. We're just looking at a replay from Friday, which I wanted to do a little review on since we were only able to see KJ's view last time. And we have, oh boy, we have Widow Mines all over the place, but they are not burrowed down. They are defenseless. Oh, does manage to get an excellent defensive blink by Harouz. Stalkers containing. And then back here, there's a lot of cleaning up to do, potentially. 3 Widow Mines sitting around here. How many Widow Mines we got? Yeah, these are the 3 he has, so... Oh boy. Offensive blink, and KJ does not have a lot of units to defend with. In fact, the Stalkers are going to snipe anything that comes out of production. Once again, Widow Mine comes out, doesn't even get a chance to burrow. Widow Mines over here trying to move to the workers. Workers get wise to it and make a run for it. Ooh, I think he only meant 1 or 2 probes to head that direction, but 4 go down. Yeah, these 14 Stalkers are, they're an intimidating force right now. The workers start mining again, but those Widow Mines are still ready to go. And countdown hits. How many are going to go down here? Alright, we have 5 kills on one of them, 5 kills on the other. But still, no answer to these Blink Stalkers. Turret pops out, goes down just as quickly. I mean, still hasn't cleaned up these Widow mines, but right now these Stalkers are hitting everything. Ooh. Oh, and once again, very good at blinking out of the way. We still got them a little bit, though. And, yeah, one of the Widow mines is gone, but the other one, with its 8 kills, is still there. Classic Terran tactic here. It's time to pick up the command center and just go to anywhere safe they can find. Probably not going to get far, though. Stalkers, we have a couple of Widow mines and a couple of Marines in production, but still not really much of an answer. And we're going to have the Orbitals sit down in the natural to try to get some mining in. Right now, KJ Freedom is got 130 minerals, and that's about it. Widow mine has been cleaned up, thanks to the kindly assistance of the local neighborhood observer. Right now, yeah, I mean, Harouz is at 30 workers, but KJ, meanwhile, is at 4, so... Ooh, once again, you can tell he practices that. Very precise timing needed there, especially if... Yep, and we have the GG. Just right there, huh? Okay. So we are now going to take a look at replay number 2 of theirs. In the upper left, we have the Blue Protoss up 1 game. He is...
Nachos.
No, he's not. Ah. Little technical difficulty there. He is... There's our man. Like I said, some of this is just practice for me. In the bottom right, the Red Terran. He is...
KJ Freedom.
So, similar opening here. Walling off against Reapers on one side, beginning to wall the top of the ramp on the other. Have the scouting workers literally just bump noses. They pass by each other. A little high five there. Or maybe nothing but contemptuous glares. KJ going with the engineering bay block right at Harouz's natural. Meanwhile, Harouz, once again, trying to pick a fight with the SCVs. Delays the barracks a little bit. Both of them getting some very clear scouts on each other. KJ is also going for the Vespin gas steal. Doing whatever he can to be a nice nuisance. Harouz responds by just going ahead and taking the 3rd. That can be pretty vulnerable, but it all depends. Focusing the probe's firepower on the incomplete refinery here. We'll see if he cancels it. I don't think that was a cancel. It's hard to tell. And KJ, you know, still feeling the effects of that stalker push from last game. He's not taking any chances. He has yet to expand, and he has the bunker going up right now. One probe gradually pecking away at that engineering bay, and we have KJ with a proxy factory way on the side of the map, pretty far from where you'd usually take a peek. And he definitely did a lot of work with the mines last game. Adepts, no bonus against buildings. Yep, we have the cancel there. Now Harouz, he's got his second base up, but it's a little bit far from the first. Already sending a couple of adepts for scouting harassment. In the meantime, reactor there, and check this out. KJ going with a, well, kind of a proxy Stargate. That means he can, if he goes medevacs, he can pick things up on the way. Reaper going on. This is going to be hard to defend because of how far apart the bases are. Tries the citizens arrest. And the Reaper is wise to it. Manages to drive it away with the Stalker. Over on the other side, got a full wall off the top of the ramp, so the Adepts decide just to move on. From Harouz, we are going with Phoenixes. Here we go, SCV moving up. Have a couple of Widow Mines ready to go. Look at that. Reaper's there, still trying to keep things in the natural. Check this out. No, not KJ casting, but this is a KJ game. I'm Hyper Turtle. Oh wow, this is classic. The triple pickup with each of them with their hands full. Yes, welcome. This is an FSL match from Friday. Oop. Manages to limit the damage from that mine to just one probe. We got more mines sneaking into the worker area. Boom and boom. Heavy duty. And look at... Is there... Yeah, there's still a little mine hiding behind the Stargate. Very hard to see even when you do have detection. Oh man, once again, just like last match, Harouz not quite cleaning up there. Still, I mean, he does have the more mobile army. And speaking of which, yeah, we got the we got the adepts that were able to get past the low supply depot. And finally cleaning up the mines, but here comes another trio of them. Oh man. That is a lot of dead workers, even with the ones he pulled. Phoenixes get hit a little bit. We got Stalkers just kind of hiding outside the base, waiting for a chance to move. Oh man. Probes dead here, probes dead there. Well, yeah, KJ doesn't have a siege tank. That's one of the big things he's missing out here. He does have some defenses up, and meanwhile, Harouz is very occupied back at home. Yeah, Phoenixes, yeah, they can disable the Widow Mines when they pick them up, but oh, come on. Oh boy. Oh, that hurts. As I was saying, yeah, you can keep picking them up before they can fire, but takes a lot of attention. As you see, KJ is keeping Harouz completely occupied here. Even though he's got workers on the other side of the map and an Oracle on the way, he's got to constantly pay attention to more and more of these coming. And look at down here. Yep. Every time a medevac makes, doesn't even need to take a detour to pick up the mines. Other mines are just walking on all fours, getting over there, but, yep. Oracle doesn't get much done. We already have the... Oh, actually, that could get something done. Yep, we have a stasis on a pretty good number of SCVs, even more. Harouz does have an observer. Yeah, it's over in the main right now. Yep, finally finds that factory. Now he's going to clean it up best he can. Once again, even more mines to clean up. It's a never-ending factory of them. Well, actual factory right here. Yep. That's cheeky. Almost got that missile turret done. Not quite. And yeah, we need some detection over here again. Stalkers are leaving KJ's base to see if they can do just a little bit more mopping at home. Still at this point, Harouz doesn't have his own natural, but he still doesn't have his expansion saturated either. Down goes the reactor. And with Harouz distracted, KJ goes on the offensive. Now, there's a couple medevacs around, but neither of them anywhere close to the... Okay, here's one that can actually heal the Marines a little bit. Stim pack is done. No combat shields, though, and I think this is going to be a pretty quick cleanup. Medevac goes down. Very efficient cleanup by Harouz. Factory is still here, even if it's on fire. There's a mule here trying to repair it. Oh, another Phoenix dies. There's a... You know, Widow Mines are one of those migraines that just stays there and stays there and stays... Stay there and stay there and stay there. Leaving these two here, but yep. Harouz definitely can breathe a little bit easier now. There's no factory. Believe there's one back at home. Yes, there is. And there goes the the building block, or whatever we call those. Alright. No blink, but Harouz cleans up the Widow Mines anyway. We've got Colossus on the way. Keep in mind, this is still the slightly buggy Colossus that has that extra range when it's upgraded, which it is. As far as I can tell, the fix for that is going to a public test realm before it actually goes live, so I have no idea what to expect there. Bunker salvaged. And both of them just kind of sitting on their side of the map, establishing their thirds, and getting ready to make their next move. Have a couple Phoenixes just going around, poking, seeing what they can find. We have 2 Colossi up now. And only 2 Phoenixes left. He definitely lost a few of those Widow Mines over the course of the game. Here we go. We have the move. Oh, he has pulled the boys. He is putting a lot into this. So, SCV is absorbing some of the fire. Medevac's got a little bit in front, but it doesn't seem like the Stalkers are going after them. They are focusing on the Marines and the Marauders. Takes advantage of the sight blocker to back the Colossus away. Ooh. In the end, KJ, yep, has the advantage for this so far. Focuses down the pylon. Doesn't quite... Okay, now the battery is depowered. We have those wretched mines sinking their teeth into the ground again. Here we go. He's going to be able to kite this, I'd say, pretty easily. Picks up, sees if he can just drop off from the base. There's already a big warping of Stalkers going on there. No workers available here. Well, okay, 2 workers. On the gas is available to pick on. Nothing wrong with that. And we have some SCVs taking the long walk home to see if they can do a little bit more economic help. Colossus and Stalkers coming up. Still no blink, so these medevacs could be a bit of trouble. They're choosing to head home now. And down goes another mine. And one of the things I'm supposed to do is zoom in a bit more here and there. Right now, Harouz with a bit of an advantage as far as the... Well, as far as the big advantage as far as the economy goes. A little bit behind on workers, but he's got the economy to support it, that's the thing. No warp prism yet. We've got a Raven coming up on the Terran side of things. And now it's Harouz's turn to actually go on a bit more of a full push. So far, he's only been poking here and there on KJ's side of the map. Colossus and Observer, grounding vision. Manages to clear out some mines pretty well. One stalker does go down. There we go. More workers going on the offensive and going down. KJ, meanwhile, decides to try to take the fight to the other side of the map. Orbital command center taking quite a bit of damage. Will it escape? If it does, we need some... No, it does not escape at all. And now we have a medevac. Well, a couple medevacs moving in. Looks like KJ is trying to hit from multiple spots at once. That Colossus is still kind of stuck out in the open. It is going to go down. But we have a lot of damage being done on the other side as well. Harouz, meanwhile, he's at least got the stalkers. He pulls his boys. Marauders fire very slowly. They're going to be taken down. Meanwhile, we got the various walkers over here, taking out KJ's base little by little. One Colossus hit by interference. Workers actually doing a pretty good job taking out stalkers despite all the Colossus fire. I don't know if this is going to pay off in the long run, though. Right now, we have Freedom at only 20 workers. He does have a slight army lead, but look at this. Look at more stalkers on the way. Being just as relentless as those Widow Mines were earlier. Now, he's gonna have to be very careful with these. Blink is just about to complete, so I don't know if we call this an anti-timing or what. Stalkers beat SCVs. Yeah, well, fair fights are overrated. There we go. Blink completes. He is going to be able to move the damaged ones back a little bit. However, there's a lot of DPS going out. Stalkers keep reinforcing, though, and KJ has less and less to actually head over here. Look at one Marine, a little bit late to the fight, goes down immediately. Both of them with +1 on attack. It's just... Oh, no need to apologize. Oh, by the way, I need to talk to you later, Bully. Even Big Gabe says so. Big Gabe says a lot of things, and what he says are very big things. It's still very interesting. I mean, obviously, KJ is still making use of this for production, the Star port. But boy, gotta bring his air units in from a fairly awkward location. Meanwhile, Harouz, she knows he's got the advantage, and he is continuing to press it. 57 workers to 23 workers right now. Army supply still about the same. Kind of each one taking the lead a little bit, but look at this. Harouz is on 4 bases now. KJ just can't afford to lose units like Harouz can. Once again, interference on the Colossus, but look at that blink micro. Harouz is really good with this. Falls back. We've got the armor shredder as well. Just waiting for various spells to wear off now. Meanwhile, getting his probes over to the 4th base. And now just waiting for the dust to clear, so to speak. There, and now they look healthier. KJ still contained on these two bases. But yeah, Bulmyolja, I know you're pretty good with the way things are pronounced. Sometime later on, probably not tonight, but sometime, you gotta tell me how to properly pronounce Take Bong Lishang. You know, the nickname for the combined might of Flash, Jaedong, Stork, and Bisu. Because it only recently occurred to me with one of Zombie Grub's streams that I don't actually know whether I pronounced that right. I know what it means, and we have the GG. Back on topic here. Alright, Harouz taking it, as those watching Friday knew he would, but this is a different little viewpoint on that. So, seeing if anyone else was going to be available for this, but for when there's some stuff I just wanted to discuss here. And that, as I went back to, is, yeah, StarCraft is a hard game, but any game is hard. Any game's hard if it can be made that way. A lot of that depends on, you know, what your challenges are, what your goals are, and who's standing on the other side of the ring, so to speak. One of the great things about FSL is it's been a great opportunity to just get people together, let them take on people who are around their skill level and learn from that gradually. And one of the things, you know, I think Blizzard didn't really start promoting until fairly late, like after StarCraft Remastered came out, is there's a lot of different ways to play. And, you know, you've got this whole promotional thing about how, yeah, you got the campaign, so there's a big story mode in StarCraft. You know, Terran campaign, Zerg campaign, Protoss campaign, and then, for some reason, Terran campaign again, although this one's more of kind of an extra and not nearly as long. The campaign's really fun. If you want to use it to get better, it definitely helps you get the hang of how to play, but at the same time, it's very different. The units, the upgrades, everything in here is stuff that works in ways that it does not in versus mode. So it's possible you might pick up some bad habits. Definitely encouraged to play maybe a little bit more defensively because you're playing against the computer with bases that are already established. Now, then there's co-op. And co-op, it's campaign-style missions, but you get to do it along with a friend, or just some random guy. There are, I believe, 18 commanders now, and that's probably where it's going to stay at, but each of these has certain units available to them, certain abilities, certain perks and bonuses and upgrades. And there's a lot of variety in there. You start at level 1, but you can build them up. You can make them more and more powerful, and then start trying on harder modes. Even try some special mutations where things get a little crazier, where it throws in some additional things where, you know, like there's infested Terrans everywhere, or there's nukes randomly dropping around the map, or the enemy units get stronger under certain circumstances. And you can work your way up. Now with Versus, there is a training mode. You can do a versus AI match where it gives you little reminders about what you might want to pay attention to doing at certain points. You can take on the AI. If you are doing versus, you don't have to do it alone. You can team up with other buddies. You know, there is the classic going out alone, and then some other modes. In custom matches, meanwhile, there's a lot you can do to, you know, custom. What does that stand for? You know, customizing. Oh, you can definitely customize. There are mods available you can change with things. You can do maps from various eras. And not only that, You can even set it to like the final patch of Wings of Liberty or Heart of the Swarm, where you're only starting with 6 units, where there's more minerals and gas per base, where there's a lot of units and upgrades that aren't there yet, and where you're stuck using some of the older maps, which might have seemed well designed at the time, but most people would have something to say about that. You can bring them in. You can do your basic melee matches. This one, yeah, I guess bad example. I should probably be showing one with more spots on it. But here's the deal. You can play with different people. You can play 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, 4v4. You can do a free-for-all, although there aren't that many maps that are good for that above 4 players. You can customize it so that there is multiple teams, not just 2 teams. Kind of a team free-for-all. You can team up against the computer. You can do Archon mode, where more than one person is controlling each army. So basically you get to share the load. Maybe one of you will focus on the macro, one will focus on the micro, or one of you will focus on the main army, the other will focus on harassment. You can set time limits. You can decide whether or not alliances can be formed or broken mid-game without anyone knowing. You can set handicaps, where someone's units do less damage. And, yeah, these, here, let me switch it back to miscellaneous. You can either... Just trying to remember, the way to do this, but, yeah, free-for-all, custom. Con... yeah. You can even do Archon matches where there are more than 2 people controlling each army. So, a lot of these you don't hear about much because a lot of them aren't actually that great, but there's some pretty crazy things you can do. Now... and then beyond that, I mean, yeah, you can watch and talk about esports. There are numerous books and comics if you're interested in the universe. But let's look at the other side of the coin in a moment. Now, because there's a StarCraft 2, logic dictates that there must have been something before it at some point. And that game would be StarCraft. Yeah, 6v6 Archon. I don't know if I'm ever going to try that, but... namely because I'd need a 12-player map. Let's see if we bring this up properly. SCR. So this is StarCraft Remastered. You don't even have to pay for it, although you will get the older graphics and you won't be able to do ranked play if you don't pay for it. Ranked play, I don't know. You have to be pretty dedicated to it because most of the people who are already on the ladder have been playing it for a very long time, so it's tough to break into. It's, it's an older style of game. You're limited to 12 units or 1 structure per control group. There's a lot of limitations on what kinds of commands you can queue up. There's units that will just sort of wander off if you try to get them through a tight choke point. So it can be frustrating if you're taking it really seriously. Otherwise, I think there's a lot to be gained from it, especially if you're curious about how this whole genre developed. And this one, there's even crazier stuff. There's there's maps that came with the game that make Wings of Liberty maps seem very ingenious. Let's put it that way. And there are a lot of different game modes. Once again, a lot of these you'd probably only want to try once at most. Top versus bottom is pretty common if it's teams. Melee is, one side versus... Melee is everyone against everyone except they can team up secretly. The alliances are not locked. Free-for-all is, what it sounds like. Locked alliances, though, one-on-one. Use map settings. There are some amazing custom maps. I guess in StarCraft 2 I didn't mention arcade, but there's quite a few mods in there too. But yes, there's Capture the Flag, where you're trying to grab a flag from your opponent's base and bring it to the beacon in your base. Greed, where it's the first person to reach a certain amount of resources gathered. Slaughter, where it's whoever gets to a certain number of kills, unit kills. Sudden Death, where if you lose your command center, or hatchery, or nexus, you're immediately removed. Team is a weird term. That's more like Archon mode. There's Team Melee, Team Free-for-all, Team Capture the Flag. In Team, once again, it's more than one player, up to 4 players controlling one army. But if you don't all choose the same race, you can end up with multiple different workers. So you can gradually create maybe another race's base, that kind of thing. So it doesn't have to be frustrating. That's my point. There are all kinds of things you can experiment with as you're getting comfortable. There's 25 and a half years of content available as far as official maps go. Here, wanted to actually bring one other thing up because here we go. Central. Let's see if I can do this right. Yeah, so back when the original StarCraft first came out, they had the map of the week, or later the trigger map of the month. That went on for a few years. And in these, like every week, and then later, like I said, every month, they would release some sort of map just to kind of show off what they could do with the editor that came with the game. So you end up with some crazy stuff, including some very interesting Christmas maps, some maps that are basically co-op, where fancier versus computer stuff where you can team up. If you ever wondered where the song 12 Days of StarCraft came, that is a Brood War map that Blizzard made themselves, complete with singing in the background. They also, for those of you who are big on single-player content, you had the Precursor, which was kind of an updated version of the Shareware demo, which was its own little campaign that took place before StarCraft. And they had Enslavers. There was kind of a veteran campaign that came on the StarCraft disc originally that kind of took place in the midst of everything. And then, like 1 or 2 chapters at a time, they started doing a sequel to that on their website. Enslavers Dark Vengeance is crazy hard. I struggled with it for a really long time until I just gave up on making carriers because they went down too quickly, too hard to replace, and just went all sort of mass gateway, and then I was able to actually do something. This is where the Dark Archon Ulrazaj made his debut. So let's just see who we've got here. Okay, so right now, I don't know. Part of what I wanted to do was really just practice a little bit as far as my streaming tools went, and I appreciate those who have been bearing with me, not just tonight, but also as I've been doing all this commissioner stuff with FSL. we've got one person on standby. Thank you very much, Lucky Leary. But I think this is probably enough for now. But what I'm really hoping is to do some kind of crazier Wednesday evening stuff, along with the Friday night league competitions. We're also looking at having more people available on standby on Friday nights, so that if there is a delay, we've already got some people just throw in. And to warn you, if you do get involved in this stuff, and here I'm gonna switch things around again. To warn you, if you do volunteer, and people who want to step up, they don't even have to be FSL players. They can be people in Twitch, they can be people donating to the Patreon. I might have some crazy stuff there for you. There's been some very strange things, official things created for StarCraft over the last 2.5 decades, so I really do want to take a deep dive and explore some of this. Something else I might be doing is maybe doing a little bit of the campaign here and there, but having some other people to join me and just discuss kind of the history of the story. But that's it for now. I've done my experimentations. I've got to look at both sides of that match from last time, so I appreciate everyone who's here. I'm going to be gone on Friday, but it's in good hands with KJ Freedom and War Bunnies, so I hope you make it to that too.